Shez.
And I'm Cal.
Together we are She Can.
And this is Spill the Prosecco.
Welcome back. Episode 3. Here we go.
I know.
Cheers.
Isn't it crazy that just in between the last episode and this one, Shez goes, geez,
I know.
I hope, what'd you say? I hope they're not being boring.
It's boring.
I tell you, the old self-doubt and imposter syndrome still pops up. But anyway, we are back. Episode 3. How are you feeling now?
Yeah, great.
We had a little bite to eat. We had a little quick bite of sushi.
It was delicious.
It was.
I've put on I think this is actually my favourite Prosecco top.
Prosecco.
I actually really love this one. I think I've worn it the most since we got them. But I'm really excited to get into this episode, mostly because I know we definitely haven't shared some of the stories. So this will be one that people will be like, what? It's a really good insight into where our brains were at the time. And I think it's, I put it on because I was like, this feels good. I'm excited.
Yeah. So the main pour for episode 3 is actually all around Adventure Week 2023, but what transpired from the moment COVID hit, which we shared in episode 2, 2 weeks prior. We had paid our full money to Bali for Adventure Week, and then what transpired to us actually arriving in Bali in May 2023.
Yeah, so if we rewind back to the decision to even use this location, this Bali venue, we were at an event because it was always important that we continued our South growth, and we at that event we decided, this is the mentality of us, we decided to continue to work with that mentor because he scared us a little bit.
Correct.
Turns out we should have just listened to our gut, which we'll talk about gut instinct later on, but he ended up being actually shit and we didn't enjoy him. Total tosser.
We did get a very big learning.
But the one thing we did gain was we connected with a guy at the bar one night after session, and just in conversation he had said that he has resorts and that, you know, they have retreats and I guess it sparked we wanted to do an overseas retreat and it sparked our interest. And so he became our connection to booking the venue, which was S Resorts in Bali, and which we're going to talk a little bit about later. And again, you know, we've alluded to a lot in this season that everything always happens for a reason. This is the perfect capture of that because that's exactly what happened. So great connection, found out we had an amazing venue, got really excited to have a connection with someone that had a resort in Bali, and we went from there.
And interestingly, we booked this retreat not to be Adventure Week, but we were going to run Next Level Entrepreneur over there. Mm-hmm. And as it turned out, it was not a great business decision to run it that way. And we ended up running the Next Level Entrepreneur retreat in Adelaide, which was fantastic. And yet we paid this deposit for this retreat and we were like, okay, what can we create that would, one, excite us to run, but also what would be enticing for women to attend. And the long and the short of it is we ended up with Adventure Week. And as we shared, Adventure Week was meant to happen in May 2020. We had paid all of the money 2 weeks before COVID hit. And then, of course, you know, the world shut down. And so what we wanted to share was essentially what happened behind closed doors for several years.
Yeah, it was a long time.
I think it was nearly 2 years. I think we went back into the archives of the emails, which almost gave me heart palpitations and broke me out into sweat when I was reading them, to our lawyers.
Yeah.
Because what happened was clearly the world shut down. There was no international travel. The communication from this company was great. They contacted us and said, you know, everything's being held, you'll be able to choose a new date, et cetera, et cetera. But what I don't think anyone could have guessed is that this wasn't going to be a short-term thing. This wasn't going to be a couple of months. This obviously went on for years. And so essentially what we wanted to do was to get the money back that our clients had paid us, that we had in turn transferred to pay for the event that we could not run. And so we started legal proceedings.
Yeah, which was, even that was huge for us. That was not something, and look, in that moment, everyone's just doing the best they can with what they've got. So we were doing that on behalf of our clients. We didn't have a personal connection or relationship with the resort in Bali or with the people that were there or with the staff that were unable to work. So, we learn all of this as we go. But at the time, we were just like, what do we do? It's best for our clients. And, they were over there in Bali doing what do we do with the shutdown resort and families that depend on this income. And, so that was.
And I think to be fair.
What we know now.
To be fair, we had an interim company. So there was us and the resort in Bali, and it was the company in the middle that we had paid the money to. They'd paid the money to the resort. And so the legal proceedings were not with the resort. The legal proceedings were with the company in the middle. And we were basing that on what our legal advice was, because we sought advice on behalf of our clients and said, well, we don't have the money. The money was paid 2 weeks before COVID hit. What do we do? And they said, well, based on their contracts. And our lawyers felt that we had a very strong position based on, you can't just say you're the conduit of, like, the money comes to us, we're passing it on. Anyway, the long story of that 2-year craziness.
And conversations between us, and then we talk to the clients, and then, and our clients were a bit getting disgruntled with us too. We were certainly thinking, gosh, they must have lost all respect and love for us 100% just because it just felt so drawn out. Yeah.
And I think every time I got an email, I did.
You did that.
I held my
100%.
breath, and I got this terrible feeling in the pit of my stomach of like, what is this going to be, whether or not it was from the lawyers or from a client. And essentially,
we shut Shekan down. So there was no income, even if we wanted to pay them back. Nothing was coming in. So we'd stopped. We'd stopped the earning. So what had been paid was like,
that was it.
So gone.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so through the legal proceedings, we were literally at a roadblock because essentially we were getting no response.
Yeah.
So this person that we'd made a connection from, we were, trying to have conversations with them. We were literally just getting no response. And for anyone that's been down any sort of legal pathway, you will know that every email or every next step of the journey is, often 4 figures.
Yeah.
In invoicing. And so basically what happened was, in the end, we got to communicate with the resort.
Directly, yeah.
And there's a lot to be said about the way that this company was set up and this interim company, because we now know that the interim company actually owns the resort, and that's not what we were being told, and all of the things. But we got to communicate with the beautiful managers of the resort, and we were able to secure vouchers for the clients to be able to use at any time that suited them, for the value of accommodation, food, etc.
Yeah, and we'd also known that the activities we had planned or that we were going to pay for at a later stage, we still had that. So we were like, here's also a bonus of X, just so that you can do the things that we discussed and make sure that when you use this voucher, you still make it an adventure week. Like, we really felt like this is the best bundle we could give them. So they've still got an ability to go when they want, when they're ready. They all had flight credits. I absolutely know that. And that here's a little bit of extra cash to make sure you have some fun while you're there.
And I can honestly remember the pure weight lifted off my shoulders that was like, okay, finally.
Great result.
Amazing. Yep. We have got them a result. and like amazing.
Yep.
And so
I remember even saying to them, take our credit and bust it up between all of them as well. Like give them that extra credit and using ours.
Yeah. And we created vouchers and did it, you know, like and we were just, you know, the sheer sense of relief for me was like, oh my gosh, this has like finally come to a close and we've got an outcome for our clients, which was the big goal.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, we can rest easy now. Like, and then
really carefully worded message and email so that they all got that. And
and the response was, nah, we want the event.
We don't want to go without you guys.
And that, in that moment, I was absolutely mind blown because I felt that the journey to that point had been really ugly for us in that it was just heavy and not how. I think the other part of it for us was, like we wanted to leave this company before we hated it, and this is the worst possible way to finish.
Yeah.
Like legal proceedings, our clients now not happy with us. It was just a really, really tough time.
And the fact that we thought this is an amazing result, and for them to say, no, it's not, because we wanted you guys, was the one thing we never considered through the whole bit. It was never thinking that the thing they would want most is to do the retreat with us.
And so when that was the overwhelming consensus by the women that had booked Adventure Week, which, mind you, was it's capped at 10, and Adventure Week, just so you know, is now recharge, and there's only 10 women. It's only 10 spots. So we're not talking about, 20, 30, 40 women. We're talking about 10. And, these were almost all women that had been to multiple events, etc. And so when that was their response, we went straight back to our beautiful connections, Jen and Rich at S Resorts in Bali, and said, well, actually scrap all of that hard work that you've done on getting credits and vouchers. It looks like we're going to be running the event. And so we then...
It was like dust off the She Can journals. Like we're coming back.
So we went full steam ahead and planned what was our very first Adventure Week. It happened in May of 2023, exactly 3 years after it was meant to happen. And it was literally going to be the final event of She Can.
I remember there was a couple of attendees.
We're going to put a bow on it. That's what we kept saying.
A couple of attendees couldn't go. A couple of people that had bought tickets for Adventure Week couldn't go. And I remember vividly their messages. I know this is the perfect ending. Congratulations, put a bow on it, celebrate it, make it so magical. And we were like, absolutely yes.
Because realistically, the 4-day was 14 months prior to this. So that was the last event we'd ran.
We'd had conversations with the accountant. So this is, we're emptying the accounts.
We said to Tony,
she's a shutdown. Don't worry about it after.
This is the perfect timing.
Yeah.
This is May.
Yeah.
We'll be back in June, 30th of June, finalise everything.
Tony will probably never listen to this podcast, but sorry, Tony.
We're closing the company down and that's what. So we headed off to Bali.
The other side note is when you're shutting down your company and it's good, we're finished, we're happy, it feels great, we're going. Cal actually flew from Queensland to Melbourne so we could travel together.
Because I had moved by this point. Yes. We moved in September, 20th of September 2021 is when we left.
So we know this is the direction of our worlds right now. Cal lives in a different state. Clearly she can't continue with us living in two different states. And we basically, this was what we would call Oprah.
So I flew from the Gold Coast to Melbourne. I'll never forget booking the flights. I booked the flight from the Gold Coast to Bali that goes via Melbourne, but we booked that Melbourne flight together at the same time so we could choose the seats next to each other. We had a bottle of Prosecco for breakfast at the Melbourne airport because I'd been up at like 3 a.m. You'd been the same. And we were just going to go and give our clients
Everything.
every last bit of energy in our
Every
tank.
night would be a party. Every day would be something fun.
Just a full adventure week.
Abundance. It was abundance and adventure. Yep. And we
so
do. We do the
we
Oprah.
did.
You get a car.
We're just doing
You-
these ones.
You get a car. And, you know, what was meant to be 4 hours turned into 12. And, you know, when we were at locations and
We just
we were like,
thought,
it's
well,
fine. We're emptying the bank accounts.
why
Great.
go back with a cent to your name? And so it was a really interesting event. And I will say, for me personally, there was some trepidation going there. I just didn't know how the clients would be, which is really interesting saying that now because these are like some of our closest friends. But it had just been such a traumatic 2 years for us with what was going on behind the scenes.
We were full of pessimist, not optimist. We
Yeah.
were so expecting the worst.
And I just
Yeah.
was like, what are we going to face when we get there? Like, are they going to be excited or are they going to be like, fuck you? Or
This
I-
is shit.
Yeah, I just,
Yeah.
and what transpired over the next 6 days, 7 days was just an experience that would have been very hard to duplicate.
Like people were walking behind us continually, just, you know, imaginary people pouring back into us. It was like it was like they filled us back up again.
We'd never been to S Resorts before. The venue was absolutely stunning.
Granted, we literally thought getting there, remember the drive there?
It's S Resorts is in what they call the Hidden Valley. So it's about 800 metres off kind of one of the main roads in Uluwatu and it's like tucked away. There's nothing else out there. So we were driving down there thinking we're driving to our death. We're about to be abducted and we're never coming back.
And we, so that was hilarious. But we just need to honour Uluwatu as a place.
Location,
it is
yeah.
just such a beautiful, spiritual, but it was a vibe. Like it was beyond anything we could have imagined.
And Jen and Rich, the managers of S Resorts, who are both Australian, were absolutely magnificent. The communication and the planning that went into that event was second to none. There was not a request that went unanswered. It was just amazing. And
if we could live with them, we would.
absolutely. Never say never.
Yeah. And again, just even that just they were, you know, we rocked up late with the car. They were straight like, you know, we ate some food. They came and sat and had a beer with us. Like it was just,
They're
it was
just
like,
phenomenal people. And the team and the staff, everything was incredible. And our clients were unbelievable. And it was at that very first Adventure Week 2023 when we were going home to close up the company on the 30th of June, they said, would you do this every year? And honestly, I
actually
think...
puts a lump in my throat. Yeah.
For Shez and I, it was just... Like we talk about the weight of the world lifting off your shoulders. That event, by day 2, I had just... My nervous system had relaxed and I was just so grateful that they were so open to having an incredible experience. We were having a great time. And some of the commentary from the women was it was like time had slowed down for them. Like it was literally a decompression and relaxation and fun and all of the things. And Shez and I were like, in response to that, would you do this every year? We were like, if you'd come, we'd do it. You know, and it was like, wouldn't say no.
You know, and also,
We'll
you know,
explore it.
we live in 2 different states now, but one event a year could probably work. Like we could make it work. One like
And so we got back. We literally had the most phenomenal time.
the best group.
S Resorts has now become like a second home. I go to Bali every year, if not twice a year, and I've now started taking my family there. The girls are so excited to go back for kin. But we came home and we spoke to Tony, our accountant, and we said, Well, let's not just be too hasty on the winding down the company on the 30th of June. We just wanted to pose the question, what would it look like if...
Just this one.
If we just kept the company open just to do the one Bali retreat a year, what would that look like? And he was like, oh, yeah, that's totally fine. That's doable. I don't think he would ever say no. And that's what happened.
I literally remember, so we had so many emails backwards and forwards with Jen. And I remember sitting there saying to her, so what if we came back next year? And, if anyone was going to tell us to fuck off, she had every right to. God love you, Jen. And she was like, absolutely. I have loved this. This has been to the point where, like you said, it's become a second home. But she's as excited about Recharge that we now do every year. She's as excited about it as us and the clients. Like, it is truly a game changer.
And I think it gets her to be in her zone of genius.
Absolutely.
Because we love organising events, and this is something we're really good at, but we get to be able to share that with her, and we say, hey, we'd love to do this and we'd love to do that, and she goes off and she does it. And I think she really enjoys being able to, try out the latest restaurants and say, oh,
and all
probably
keeps it's so
growing.
It's growing. So there's so much cool new stuff, and it's been hilarious.
So it's really funny when we're now into our 4th year of Recharge, which was Adventure Week. And by the time this episode drops, Recharge will be done again and we'll be opening spots for 2027. But we get there and we get in this environment where it's different and it really works for our human design. And Shez and I get, the creative juices going, and we, in any of the downtime, which is there isn't a lot at Recharge because we're with our clients all of the time, but we start the next email thread with Jen. I know what's going to happen when we're there in May. It'll be like, Recharge 2027 ideas. And she'll be like, am I reading this right? And we're like, yep, we're on to next year. And it's just fabulous. But it was a incredibly tough journey to get to Adventure Week 2023, but it was the turning point.
Yeah, and I know people, like you've heard people share stories about when they've been rewarded for the really tough, hard stuff. This is that for us.
100%.
This event, this evolution, the clients in that space asking us, would you do it again? That was not what we were expecting, but it was absolutely the reward for what had come before it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you learn?
A couple of things. I guess that version of event was something that I'm like, okay, this is different to what we've always done. Women are missing fun. Women are missing, that
adventure.
Adventure experience. They don't all have to be, as traditionally, which we've shared before, white parties and yoga. And I think by the time we had got to do Adventure Week, the events had changed significantly, and people had kind of jumped back into, I guess, what we were doing 3 years ago. And for us, this was our next level. And I think that was just trust your gut in that space. That is definitely one thing I learned. Yeah. What about you?
Probably 2 main things. The first one was it would have been really useful to have the conversation with our clients to say, would you like a credit and a voucher to do this on your own, or would you like us to run the event even though it's 3 years down the track?
Good idea.
That would have saved a lot of heartache and stress.
Yeah, genius.
The second thing is probably what you just shared, is that Adventure Week opened our mind up to what retreats could look like. And I feel like it's given me a different perspective for women that might be in their 40s, that maybe have really great relationships with their husbands and family, but they want to be able to travel, and they don't want to travel on their own. And maybe hubby is not interested in going to Bali, or he prefers his fishing, and and it's what we do gives women an opportunity to travel without stress, without fear, and know that it's all done for them.
Yeah.
And they can literally show up and be taken care of, but not feel like they're restricted and have to do this and have to do that, and have the freedom and the fun and the relaxation and the connection.
Yeah.
And then go home and be like, that was fucking great. I'm doing it next year as well.
And I think that was huge for us when we know clients that have attended Recharge have then gone and tried to create that experience with a network of friends or with the family, and they're like, well, I didn't like it.
Yes.
I'm, you know what, Bali and Recharge, that's for me. I'll do something else with my family,
Yes.
which again, at the time you don't take credit for, but you know it's because of how you step out and plan out and map out the event and our relationships, and that's made it like that. So, yeah, that's big too.
And I think when you look at 50% of the people that came to the Adventure Week in 2023 are coming into their fourth recharge, then you're doing something right.
You're doing something right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck getting a spot. You'll never get rid of them.
Plus, the agenda for this year is we'll talk about that once it's done.
But let's do a behind the glass.
Behind the glass. Okay.
I know one.
Okay, go.
So it's to do with Adventure Week. So Cal and I got there and we'd just arrived and we'd just had dinner, and constantly we were on the lookout for that middle person that Cal had spoken about, that the person we'd met at the event that, you know, had said, I have retreats and resorts, and lo and behold, we were sitting up at the bar. I will never forget this. And we were having a bintang, and he walked over and we just had the sweats.
Hang on. He was at the bar and we spotted him and we were like, let's just rip the Band-Aid off here. Let's
You're right. Anyway,
we're like, we can't ignore him. Yeah. He's obviously staying here. We're just because it's not a big, massive resort.
No, so that's right.
And we were like, let's go and get this over and done with.
Just like, hello. And it was like, hello. And then I don't know what was said, but the line I remember was, well, the last time I spoke to you two, you were suing me. Just take us here.
It's 100%.
That, and we hadn't started the event yet, and we're like, what the fuck is going to happen with this event? Like, that was just.
But but also, he had his say.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you going to say to come back to that? Nothing, because absolutely we were.
I think that's what we said. Yep.
Like, and so you move on. And I mean, thankfully, he didn't
hold a grudge.
Which smart business decision, since we're now on our 4th year at his resort. But also smart business decision allowing us to deal directly with the beautiful Jen and Rich at S Resorts.
But yeah, that's a behind the glass that we've never shared, that literally before we had to front up to the mortal enemy, literally right before, who all of these emails and discussions and the vibe that we had around that whole event had been caused. And there he was sitting up there and we're like,
and I don't think he's ever been there since. So it's kind of like he knew we were going.
2 things behind the glass. So that event, 2 things.
Yeah.
That event is the one event where you and I had, because we just were so in it, sometimes we didn't think about what we were actually doing, and we took the client surfing.
Which we've done again.
I know, but that first experience, that first time we'd done it and we were paddling out.
Where I cut my feet open.
And you and I were actually saying to each other, is this dumb?
I can remember being on the sand and getting the demo on the boards and things. And I can remember fully being like my breath catching, like I couldn't get a deep breath. And I was like, I should not be this nervous about, they're not sending us out into the pipeline out the back. Like, we're literally not going out that far. I was terrified.
Not for us.
I was like, I do realise that I have a ocean water thing. I think it's probably past life. But I was like, what if we kill someone?
We could sense the client's fear and the things that they were screaming from their surfboards. And I'm I looked at you and I'm like, I think this could be silly.
But do you know that every single woman attempted, whether or not they went out once and rode the board in on their knees or stomachs or whatever and said, great, did it, that's enough. The energy
Oh, my God.
after that surfing, I don't know if I've ever experienced that again. I don't know if you could duplicate that. I'll definitely put a group photo up of the surfing. It was electrifying.
Yeah.
The sense of accomplishment because of the weight of the energy before we went. Like, no one was feeling comfortable. No one had done it before, you know. And, I mean, we weren't in massive surf at all.
Oh,
but
God.
it was
Well,
rocky.
it was so safe.
But it was rocky underneath. Like, I had a few cuts on my feet. It was great, but I definitely was like, shit, like, I don't know whether or not we anyway, too late now. We're out. Let's go.
And that was that. I mean, you couldn't call it anything else except for Adventure Week because, you know, that's what we were doing.
We have done some really fabulous stuff at Adventure Week. Really great things. All right. Okay, we're doing a rapid fire.
Oh, cool. Okay,
Instead
so you ask the question and then we both answer. Is that what we're doing? Okay, great.
Instead of doing a question, we're going to do a rapid fire.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Tea. A song that instantly shifts your mood.
Currently, right now, or just for all times?
Whatever.
Better Man, Pearl Jam.
Bruce Springsteen, I'm on fire.
Oh, yeah, good one.
It's got to be top 5.
Yeah.
It's good. One word your friends would use to describe you. Be honest.
Loud. In all elements.
Because of your trumpet bump? Because of how loud you fart in the morning? Or
I farted this morning. I thought, I'm going to wake your girls up.
I'm down on the other side of the house, so I got to hear it. No, I was at the gym. This is interesting. We should have given this question to each other.
Direct, I'll say for you.
Okay, direct. I was going to say funny, but I'll take direct.
You're funny too.
I wasn't. I was going to say ochre.
Actually, I nearly just choked on my beautiful Prosecco.
Your go-to, I need to reset my energy ritual.
Oh.
Go to Bali.
Book a ticket to Bali, yeah. Yeah, book a holiday.
Book a holiday.
Yeah.
Okay. Heels, sneakers or barefoot?
Barefoot.
Barefoot. Would have been sneakers, but now it's barefoot.
Yeah.
Love that.
That's great.
Love.
You can tell we
Alrighty.
actually didn't practice those.
No, correct. We might do a couple more rapid fires before the season's out.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. Well, thanks for tuning in. As we said, if you are listening to this on the treadmill or out for a walk, please take a photo of yourself, put it on your social media, tag us. We'd love to see it. But thank you, and we'll see you for episode 4.
Bye.
Bye.